The night was unusually quiet when Arjun Mehta arrived in the remote village of Kalyanpur, a place wrapped in the mystery of its ancient past. He was an archaeology student, deeply fascinated by forgotten ruins and abandoned structures that held whispers of history. But this trip was different. He wasn't here under university assignment. He had come chasing a rumor. A rumor of an ancient temple hidden deep inside the forest. A temple said to have been sealed for centuries. A temple locals feared so intensely that even speaking its name was avoided. They simply called it the Cursed Temple. Arjun stepped off the dusty bus and felt a chill run up his spine. The wind carried an eerie, almost mournful sound. The villagers watched him with a mix of curiosity and unease. Many of them whispered among themselves. Outsiders rarely came here, and those who did never stayed long. Still, Arjun's excitement overshadowed any discomfort he felt. He adjusted his backpack and walked toward a small tea stall where an elderly man sat cross-legged on a wooden cot. The man looked up, eyes sharp despite his age. "You're not from here," he said. "No," Arjun replied, smiling politely. "My name is Arjun. I heard stories about an old temple in the forest. I was hoping someone could guide me." At that, the old man stiffened. His eyes darkened, and his wrinkled hands tightened around the metal cup. "You should not go looking for that place," he whispered. "It does not welcome the living." Arjun sat down anyway. "Stories are exaggerated. I just want to study it." The old man sighed heavily. "That temple is cursed. Many years ago, when the kingdom of Devgar still existed, the temple was devoted to a goddess, Devi Karnika. She was worshipped by thousands. But in time, darkness fell upon the land. The kingdom betrayed the goddess. They plundered her idols, broke her shrines, spilled blood on her sacred grounds. It is said that Devi cursed them all. The temple doors sealed themselves, and every priest inside died overnight. Since then, anyone who goes near the ruins never returns." Arjun listened intently, the fear in the old man's voice only increasing his curiosity. "I'll be careful," he replied. The old man shook his head. Curse does not care for careful. Despite the warnings, Arjun rented a small room and spent the evening questioning locals. Most refused to speak, but one young boy pointed toward the forest and whispered, "Follow the broken stone path. But do not go after sunset." Of course, Arjun planned to go at sunrise. But that night, strange things began. As Arjun lay in bed, he heard soft chanting echoing from somewhere outside. At first he thought it was a dream, but the sound grew louder. Ancient Sanskrit verses spoken in a tone that didn't feel human. He opened his window and peered out into the darkness. There was nothing, no one, just shadows moving between trees as if alive. The next morning, the forest greeted him with thick fog. The old stone path indeed existed, broken, overgrown, leading deeper into the dense wilderness. Birds cried out in warning, but Arjun pressed on. After an hour of walking, he noticed the forest growing unnaturally silent. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Suddenly he saw it. The temple stood like a forgotten giant, its blackened structure covered in moss and vines, its towering pillars cracked, but still intimidating. The entrance was sealed by massive iron doors engraved with ancient carvings. The goddess Karnika's face, though eroded, was barely recognizable, eyes hollow, expression stern, as if watching him. Arjun felt a sharp chill. "This is incredible," he whispered. Ignoring the dread rising inside him, he set up his camera and began recording the temple's exterior. The carvings were extraordinary, depictions of rituals, celestial beings, and offerings. But one particular carving caught his attention. Humans kneeling before the goddess, their eyes gouged out. Arjun swallowed hard. The carving felt too real. Without thinking, he placed both hands on the heavy door. Surprisingly, it moved. The doors groaned, releasing a cold gust of air that smelled of decay. Inside was pitch darkness. As Arjun stepped in, his flashlight flickered. The temple interior was vast, its walls covered in murals that seemed to shift when viewed from the corner of his eye. He walked deeper, feeling as though invisible eyes were watching. Then he heard it. A soft whisper. At first, he thought it was the wind. But the whisper grew into a voice. A woman's voice. "Leave." He spun around, shining his light. No one was there. His breath quickened. He took a step backward, and the entrance slammed shut behind him. The sound echoed like thunder. Arjun rushed to the door, pushing with all his strength, but it wouldn't budge. Panic surged through him. Then he noticed something horrifying. The murals on the wall had changed. They now showed scenes of people trapped behind the temple doors, clawing for escape. Their expressions matched his own fear. The whispering returned, louder. "Leave, before she awakens." Arjun stumbled backward, trembling. "Who's there?" His flashlight flickered violently, then steadied to reveal a figure standing at the far end of the hall. A woman, draped in ancient priestess robes, head lowered. Her long black hair flowed unnaturally, as though underwater. Arjun froze. Who are you?" he stammered. The woman slowly lifted her face, revealing empty eye sockets. "I am what remains," she whispered. Her voice echoed with centuries of suffering. Arjun's flashlight died. Total darkness swallowed him. He felt something brush past him, cold fingers grazing his arm. He screamed, stumbling backward, and managed to turn on his backup light. The woman was gone. But something else appeared. The inner sanctum door had opened on its own. Arjun knew he should run, but his curiosity dragged him forward. Inside the sanctum, a massive statue of Devi Karnika stood, four-armed, fierce, her stone eyes glowing faintly red. Offerings lay scattered around her feet. The whispering returned, angrier now. "You are not welcome." Suddenly, the ground trembled. Dust fell from the ceiling. The statue's eyes glowed brighter, blood red. Arjun backed away in terror. The statue moved. Just slightly, but enough. A deep, guttural voice filled the chamber. "You dare enter my cursed ground." Arjun collapsed to his knees. I'm sorry. I only wanted to study." The temple roared with fury. The shadows themselves twisted into forms. Humanoid silhouettes with missing eyes, crawling toward him. Their mouths opened in silent screams. Arjun scrambled to his feet. He ran blindly through the corridor, the shadows pursuing him with terrifying speed. They grabbed at his clothes, his skin, whispering ancient words. He could feel cold breath against his neck. Then he saw it, the faint outline of daylight coming from the entrance. But the moment he reached it, the iron doors slammed shut again. He pounded on them desperately. "Help! Somebody!" The shadows surrounded him. The temple vibrated, its stones groaning like a living creature. Then, unexpectedly, silence. Everything froze. The shadows retreated, bowing toward something behind Arjun. He turned slowly. The statue of the goddess now stood in the entrance hall itself. It had moved without sound. Her stone face was now cracked open, revealing a pair of glowing, bleeding eyes. Arjun fainted from pure terror. When he regained consciousness, he found himself lying outside the temple, the forest eerily silent. His clothes were torn, his hands bruised, and strange markings covered his arms, symbols written in a language he didn't understand. The temple doors were sealed again. Arjun ran back to the village immediately. The old man from the tea stall looked at him with sorrow. "You went there," he said softly. Arjun nodded weakly. "The goddess, she's still alive." "No," the old man replied. "She is cursed. And now so are you." Arjun felt a sharp pain in his arm. The markings began to glow faintly. Whispering filled his ears again. The old man backed away. "You brought the temple's curse with you." Arjun desperately tried to explain, but the whispers grew louder, nearly unbearable. He felt something inside him twisting, changing. That night, the villagers heard screams coming from Arjun's room. By morning, the door was broken from the inside. Arjun was gone. The only thing left behind were claw marks on the walls, and a faint, echoing whisper. "Return." Days later, travelers reported seeing a hollow-eyed figure wandering near the forest. A man with strange glowing marks on his arms, whispering ancient Sanskrit verses. They say he guards the temple now. They say no one should ever follow the stone path again, because the curse never dies. The cursed temple is always waiting.